I was talking to someone the other day and they were like, I wake up early, get out of bed, I check my email to see if there's any fires. And I was like, well, that's it right there. Like, you consciously in the beginning of the day go looking for trouble. Of course you find it. You always are going to find something to be upset about, something to take up some of your time, something to distract you. I think you've got to protect that space in the morning. You usually have more willpower than at the beginning of the day. So if you get up at 6 and you work out at 6:30, I think you're going to do more, have more energy, and then get it done than if you wait until 6:30 in the evening when you may or may not have a million excuses, plus you're tired.
I think we're very aligned on this, the element of an early morning physical practice.
Yeah.
Morning routines have become almost overplayed, but
Sure.
for good reason, I think. And to me, and I think you're aligned because you run and you swim and you take your kids on walks, I know, and that's a part of every single day. And for me, it is too. And you write about this a lot, the importance. And I think sometimes I talk with senior leaders that have the back-to-back-to-back-to-back calendars, and part of what gets cut out is like working out, taking care of their body. And to me, I always say, hey, man, you have one body, one.
Sure.
And if it fails, if your health goes away, if it fails, all of this other stuff doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. On one end, it's literally about taking care of your body. On the other end, I think the physical is what leads to being great from a mental perspective. Like, to me, I think it's more mental than physical of all of the early morning workouts 7 days a week. Can you talk more about why this should become part of, if you're able, right, this should become part of a leader's practice?
Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of thoughts there. Specifically on the calendar thing, I think I look at some people that I know's calendar and I go, that doesn't seem like a rich life, right? Like, you go like, wow, you're very powerful, and yet, like, you have no control over what your day looks like. Your day is entirely owned by other people. Mm-hmm. To me, that doesn't sound great at all. So to me, like a great day is a day with a lot of white space, and specifically space in the morning to do things the way that I want to do them, which to me is usually, I end up waking up early. That's part of what gives you that space, right? If you wake up at 10:30, like, you're behind the 8 ball. If you wake up at 5:30 or 6:30, also, of course, depending on what time zone you're in, you're ahead of people. So that space is yours. And then what is the first decision that you make when you wake up, right? I was talking to someone the other day and they were like, I wake up early, get out of bed, I check my email to see if there's any fires, right? And I was like, well, that's it right there. Like, you consciously in the beginning of the day go looking for trouble. Of course you find it. You always are going to find something to be upset about, something to take up some of your time, something to distract you. I think you've got to protect that space in the morning. And it's usually in the morning. I mean, obviously, very few people are actually morning people, right? They're so excited to be up. It's not sunny yet. But you usually have more willpower than at the beginning of the day. So, like, if you get up at 6 and you work out at 6:30, I think you're going to do more, have more energy, and then get it done than if you wait until 6:30 in the evening when you may or may not have a million excuses, plus you're tired, plus you've eaten poorly, et cetera. So I try to just own that morning. And I know that if I get up at a good time, I get outside, I get some exercise, I don't get sucked in the phone, and maybe I do a little bit of work, like a little bit of writing, like, it could be 10:30 and like I've already won, most of the day. I mean, there's still a lot more to do, and there's things that can determine whether it's a super great day or a pretty good day, but it's not going to be a terribly unproductive, unpleasant day if I start things off right. Well begun is half done is a great expression that I like.
And longer term too, it's just the benefit of taking care of yourself. To me, it's the priority number one. It has to be, because like, I'm not going to be a husband or a dad if I fall apart. And so right. I can't predict the things that could happen to me health-wise. But, and this is what I'm really happy. Both my mom and my dad are really good about this. They're like, we can't predict it, right, as we get older, But what we can do is we can work out every day. We can watch what we eat, right? We can party in moderation, still have fun, right?
Sure.
And I think that's the thing that's inspiring to me is like we can't control everything, but the thing that we can control, we're going to. And I think that's the mentality that great leaders, people who sustain excellence seem to have.
Yeah, you don't control if you get prostate cancer at 56, but you do control at 56 for the most part whether you can walk up a flight of stairs without breathing heavily, right? Or whether you can pick up your grandkids, or whether you can swim in a pool, or you control those things, and you control those things by the decisions you're making long before that. The decision to go for a walk, to eat decently, to not get addicted to certain things, to practice, habits in moderation, right? And that's what temperance is about. I think living a strenuous life, in the sense of you're active, you're engaged, you're in control of your body, is a form of discipline that carries over to the other places of your life. I talk about this in the book too. I mean, also, like, if your office is a mess, I think your work is going to be a mess, right? If your body is a mess, if you feel terrible, are you going to be as good controlling your temper? Probably not, right? Because you feel like garbage, right? And so you treat yourself and other people like garbage. So these things are all very related.